You will notice level 2 is detailed as a unilateral level. It is my belief, and quite a common belief, that we must have some appreciation for one side versus the other and build a level of symmetry at the very least. Finally, the exercises have their brackets that are detailing a tempo for each phase of the movement within that exercise. For example, if you look at level 1 and you just go across into level 1 from the squat pattern, you'll see it's labeled D-BB OH squat and in brackets 111. So that is a dowel or a barbell overhead squat, and it is suggesting that a student should descend from the top to bottom position in a controlled 1 second, holding that second position or that bottom position for a further 1 second, and finally ascend back to the top position in 1 final second. This just reinforces a smooth control execution of the movement. It also helps the students' kinesthetic registration at each stage of a given movement, so their intrinsic feel of it and their body sort of in space. Anyone adhering to this curriculum must remember this is a flexible blueprint that offers individuality via rates of progress from level 1 to the next and relative loads later in the curriculum. In terms of time assigned to each level, as mentioned, a student cannot progress until they have successfully mastered and demonstrated to you, the coach, the level that they are on. But if you had to assign a duration for a given group, I would personally start by getting the students to perform level 1 for 4 to 6 weeks, which typically mimics the duration of a half of term. From here, as the supervising coach, you have to police everyone's plan and constantly monitor where they are with all exercise prescriptions. Once there is a healthy buy-in, you usually only have to oversee this, but keep engaged and show the enthusiasm, because their buy-in is built on a lot of your interest and passion that you're displaying to them. Level 1 of this program is naturally going to be very intense coaching for you if you're delivering it. This is due to the lack of understanding or even alien responses the students will give you. A lot of these students are just going to quite simply not understand what any of these are. We therefore have to provide lots of feedback, praise and external cues that help the student register the action, which is so critical. As the student progresses through the curriculum, they will start to appreciate the movement patterns more naturally, with little conscious effort to get the ABCs in place going into the next level. So having covered the key principles of the curriculum in the previous slide, what we have to acknowledge in levels 4 to 6 is the change in emphasis from movement competency to now the student is ready for loaded complex movements, thus challenging a greater stimulus. Once again, let's just refer to the lifted text that I put on the right hand side here. So once a robust level of competency is reached, practitioners should sensibly manipulate training to satisfy the principle of progressive overload. It should be noted that training intensity should never be increased at the expense of technical competency. So guys, only when they are ready to do these movements, having successfully graduated from the prior levels, i.e. at this point level 3, if they can successfully do level 3, they are ready for level 4. Okay, and this is particularly important as load is going to start coming onto the bar. They have to show absolutely textbook technical competency to be able to get to the next level. Here we are targeting our benchmark level 6 exercises, providing as much transference to sports performance and general exercise success. Be aware now of the session parameters, i.e. the sets and the reps and recovery between sets. You'll notice the rest periods and the sets and reps tab are similar to level 3, but they change going into level 5 and to level 6. I would like to draw attention to the psychosocial values that underpin the curriculum. So if you have a check out at the bottom of the tab there, this was in the previous slide as well. I particularly like to encourage empowerment. Once I feel a student is competent, I will positively target them to become a mini coach within a session. This to support those progressing at a slower rate. That might be working with them as a training partner or leading the early part of the mobility movement prep. Ultimately, it's a powerful message when a respected peer is championing the same message you are as the coach. To step up in their learning as well as helping another learner. Fun is also another core value. If they are not enjoying any of this, they won't engage and therefore get as much out of it. A final point on this, in our day and age, we're not drill sergeants, so shouting and promoting exhaustion is not the way to promote holistic gains. If a student displays the key movement skills from the session plan and shows appropriate gym etiquette along the way, then we have a modern day young gym trainer championing the way. If they aren't quite conforming to the plan, adopt strategies that could help them. Engage, i.e. Learn a little bit more about them and their interests, show empathy, befriend them, and build trust. Work with the student to understand their perspective and encourage how this curriculum could help them in whatever capacity that may be. So just to summarize this phase of the curriculum, and the whole curriculum in general actually, this is, in my opinion, it's a good approach to developing key qualities that relate to exercise performance, both sport and exercise health. It's not necessarily a gold standard, I'm not necessarily sure if there is, but it's a good platform to springboard from and adjust to fit your school schedule. An additional consideration we must be aware of and plan for is the impact of social distancing and restrictions being put in place across the next 12 to 18 months. Operating within the confines of these parameters is going to be vital. Some students may master this curriculum in good time, i.e. before the 3 years or the entire secondary school journey is up, which could leave you in a position whereby you are stumped for advanced movements to prescribe to the student. At this stage you have a champagne problem, but there are options. It is, however, beyond the scope of this presentation, and should this presentation get enough interest, we can look into putting together a model that supports advancing individuals moving beyond or within this curriculum. Beyond the acquisition of the exercise prescription, we want to know if our students are achieving qualities both directly and indirectly associated with the curriculum, ultimately helping us strive for the ultimate prize, that is athleticism. I've therefore offered a battery of tests that can provide tangible values for each individual student. So working from left to right, we've got maturational growth factors, change of direction and speed values, power characteristics. This can be typically administered via a CMJ jump mat. Strength values, which could be a hex bar, squat, or a weighted pull-up, for example. And finally, a 1200 meter run to quantify an aerobic value. And you just see there very quickly along the bottom in terms of when we would deliver these throughout the academic year, very similar to my second presentation or part 2, where we looked at where growth and maturational characteristics could be monitored. You could align this around the same time, so start of an academic year in September, early January, and the end of March or early April, just before the Easter break. All the values are transferable to sports performance and general health in terms of comparing data between cohorts, age groups, genders, years gone by, and so forth. The value of the data is limitless. The key qualities I have chosen are easy to administer, require no more than a stopwatch, some cones, and lifting gear. Finally, the tests are single target tests, i.e. the 1200 meter, for example, focuses solely on aerobic ability and no other values, thus eradicating any crossover or compensatory quality. Another key screening tool that a respective peer of mine brought to my attention is the use of screening students in their chosen sport or exercise. By this I mean track how they have started out playing and subjectively rate their skills and ability on the field throughout their secondary school years. If they have been performing the resistance training curriculum while at secondary school, you will likely notice changes in ability to perform specific skills and actions. After all, we are trying to help them engage fully, safely and successfully in their desired activity, so it could be worth monitoring. That is the end of my part 3, guys, and therefore the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed and gained some valuable information that can support the integration of such a curriculum. If you are eager to explore the idea of this curriculum being part of your school's program, please contact me at the email provided, so jackdaviessc@gmail.com. If you wish to follow me on social media to access more learning on this area, please access my platforms via the links below. Thank you for your time, and please contact me if you wish to explore further the ideas of athletic development in secondary school. Take care, and thank you very much.